Sean Strickland just beat KHAMZAT Chimaev in a way that I never thought was possible. Half guard domination. No, but all jokes aside, yesterday's card was hilarious. We've got fans all over the place upset, from coping to conspiracies to basically crying. And I just had to break the dry streak I was having, hop on here and make a video. So that's what we're going to talk about today, the Sean Strickland win and also the Joshua Van glazing session. Let's begin. Now guys, there's going to be people out there hopping on the bandwagon saying, oh, I knew Sean was going to win, but you're talking out your ass. Most people thought this was going to be a grappling ragdoll clinic, me included. And in the first round, that's exactly what we saw. The standard KHAMZAT experience comes in, takes down Sean Strickland, ragdolls him around, puts him in submission attempts, and it looks like it's going to be a long night for Sean. But the difference in this fight was, number one, Sean was defending very well. And number two, he was making KHAMZAT work like a dog. You know, KHAMZAT got away with 5 rounds of smudging in the DDP fight because DDP couldn't get off his back. He was pinned flat to his back and he couldn't do anything about it. Strickland was making KHAMZAT work the whole time, non-stop. So although yes, KHAMZAT was being extremely dominant, he blew his load like me in the bedroom, and then he was disappointed coming into the second round. Because what did we see? Limp dickin'. KHAMZAT in the second round come out like a crackhead, twitching like he normally does. And you know, rather than setting up feints by pumping the jab a little bit, his feinting was... Then he walked himself onto about 10 jabs and tried to shoot on Strickland. Or so I thought. Upon closer inspection of this fight, KHAMZAT was actually hit with a little clean right hand and it stumbled him. Now, I didn't see this at the time, but if you go back and watch, you will see he kind of goes... And then he goes back to twitching and then instantly shoots a telegraphed sloppy takedown. And from there, it was the half guard clinic. And this is where the card just got so funny to me because I wasn't expecting this. You see Strickland heavily sprawl out on top of KHAMZAT. I think he grabbed like a nice overhook. He flips KHAMZAT onto his back and then starts laying in half guard. And it's a sight that you never thought you would see. And this is what makes MMA so great and the UFC so great, because constantly, week after week, you see things where you just can't comprehend that that is what was going to happen. But regardless, in the second round, there was also that brief moment where KHAMZAT was kind of on his back with his legs up like a dead bug, kind of like a cockroach that you've stomped on. And then Strickland's telling him to get up. And it's just, you know, we saw that maybe a week ago with JDM getting brutalized on the ground. But would you ever think that you would see KHAMZAT on his back, kind of like Charles Oliveira, just dead cockroaching? It's just something you didn't ever think you would see. And that's what made me laugh so much. Now, the rest of the fight was pretty boring. I think people thought it was entertaining because, number one, Sean Strickland was a massive underdog and he was coming back and it looked like he was going to win. And number two, KHAMZAT's this force that we basically have only ever seen steamroll people. But really, when we look at the fight, all it was KHAMZAT twitching, walking into range, getting jabbed in the face, and then landing like a shot to the body, a shot upstairs. Strickland kind of parries it. Strickland kind of bounces off his Philly shell. And then we rinse and repeat that for about 5 rounds and mix in some grappling at the end. It wasn't a super entertaining fight, especially when you compare it to the Van fight, but we'll get there. It was just more of a shock. Everyone's expectations were shocked, and that made people excited for the fight itself. But the actual fighting, no one really got dropped, except for that part in the second round. No one really had a huge advantage on the other person. It kind of just looked like the ultimate sparring championship. And granted, most Strickland fights look like that unless he puts it on someone and finishes them. Now, honestly, I didn't know how to score the fight. I guess round 1, KHAMZAT. Round 2, Strickland. Round 3, Strickland. Round 4, I think KHAMZAT started implementing the grappling, or was that round 5? Huh? Round 4 and 5 were a bit murky for me, and honestly, my brain kind of tuned out. But I would say it was super close. You know, I wasn't sitting there going, oh, that Strickland jab, yeah, that was more effective than that KHAMZAT jab. To me, they were kind of neck and neck. Then KHAMZAT tried to implement the grappling. Sean did a great job at stuffing it. And then we were kind of back to the Ultimate Sparring Championship. But yeah, props to Sean. You know, I don't hate or love either of these two. I used to really love KHAMZAT until he stopped fighting. You know, when he started fighting once a year, I kind of just thought, oh, well, fuck KHAMZAT. It's just boring to see someone come, destroy someone, not fight for a year, and then come back and do the same thing. Now that KHAMZAT's taking his first loss, hopefully he just moves up to light heavyweight, takes out Olberg, that absolute demon who ruined Yuri. Or we can at least see him fight 2 times a year. That's all I ask. 2 fights a year. If you're a championship level fighter, if you are that good that people need to see you, then please fight twice a year. I know injuries happen, but you were not injured after the DDP fight. You smudged that man to the ground, and we need to stop this inactivity in the UFC. Anyway, that rant aside, again, congrats to Sean. Huge victory. I mean, massive underdog in the Izzy fight, comes back and dominates there. Massive underdog in this fight, comes back and shucks off Chimaev. Probably someone who we thought was going to go on to be the best middleweight of all time. Someone we thought might have got 3 belts. And someone I could still see moving up to light heavyweight and dominating there. So to beat that guy, to beat Izzy, and prove everyone wrong, all whilst being this shit-talking guy who no one takes seriously, that's awesome. Congrats to Sean, great performance, and suck shit to all the conspiracy theory, coping, and crying, complaining fans who put so much stock into KHAMZAT. Now you know how it feels to lose. Now you know how you might want to carry yourself when your next favorite fighter loses, instead of what you guys normally do online, which is go to the other person's fan base and talk absolute dribble. How does it feel to lose for once? Doesn't feel good, does it? But yeah, speaking of being doubted, speaking of being hated, Joshua Van, the man. What an absolute insane performance. Everyone's talking about this Strickland fight, and I made a few TikToks and Reels. Go follow me on TikTok and Instagram, talking about Joshua Van, and they just don't get any clicks. Yet this guy had the most entertaining performance on the whole card. You know, that first round there, I was very, very nervous. Although Van was being shucked around, although he was being controlled, although he was being held down, he was never put in any deep submission attempts, but I thought we might see this for 5 rounds. But you could see Van was very calm. He knew all the positions, he knew how to counteract them, and yes, he was smaller than Tyra, but he was doing such a good job at just almost getting underneath, getting butterfly guard, digging underhooks, and just escaping the situations and making Tyra work, never being able to settle, never being able to get any ground and pound off. He did such a good job at being safe and getting back to his feet. And then after that, it's the age-old story where if you can stop the takedowns and you are the more dominant striker and you can make that person work, you can start tearing them apart. And it's got to be one of the funnest things in MMA to see when a dominant grappler, which is normally the OP build, starts withering and you start seeing the striker come through, because then every shot afterwards starts seeming telegraphed. They start sprawling, they start reading you, they start setting you up for feints and counters, and it just looks so beautiful when an amazing striker starts piecing up a wrestler. Now granted, Tyra, his striking looked amazing too, and I'm not a Tyra hater, I love him too, I fucking love Japan, I'm a massive weeb, but everyone was saying that Van was shit. Everyone was saying that because of what happened with the Pantoja win, that he was nothing and he's a paper champion. But he is so fucking dominant at such a young age with such a beautiful style. He doesn't deserve the hate. And now he's just won this fight, so I have to put it a little bit on Tyra. He doesn't deserve it, but the people who were backing him out of hate do. Anyway, Tyra had surprisingly good striking too. You know, I think Van was parrying a lot of the shots, but I also think he was taking a few of those jabs to the head. He was trying to make reads, but Tyra had such long reach that he was able to put a few shots on Van in the in-between. And it was just an awesome fight. As soon as Van kind of got in that flow state and started ripping to the body and almost stuttering with his timing, pumping fakes and then coming over the top and then backing him up against the side of the fence. That heavy boxing style with minimal kicks is so beautiful in the UFC, but you just have to be the top of the top to implement it. You have to have great takedown defense, you have to throw minimal kicks, and you have to be able to get on the inside to start making it work. But the people who can implement it, who are well-rounded mixed martial artists, are so dominant. You know, your Ilias, your Vans, your JDMs. Oh, JDM, fuck. These are the people who can implement that style with the heavy takedown defense, and if they can get it off, they will absolutely destroy you. And as I said, that fight was super entertaining. I really wish it got more attention because number one, the flyweights don't really get attention anyway, but they are the most athletic and skilled fighters in the UFC. And to have someone like Van, who has knockout power, which we don't normally see with the flyweight division, I feel like we need to put more attention on that. And moving forward, this makes the Pantoja Van rematch amazing. Are you not way more pumped for that now? Yes, we saw Van get taken down, but we also saw him stay calm, not get submitted, get up, and then put punishment on Tyra. And where do you put Tyra and Pantoja in terms of grappling? Different styles. I would say Pantoja almost seems a little bit more slow and sloppy once he starts gassing, but has the ability to keep coming back and get a second wind. He also just kind of recklessly comes into range with his hands down. And I don't know who would be better submission for submission out of Pantoja and Tyra. Obviously, Pantoja's a long-reigning GOAT, but Tyra up to this point was just dominating, subbing everyone as well. And as I said, that's what makes this upcoming fight so exciting. So we need to put more gas onto that. And in terms of the middleweight division, I don't know what we really do there. Do we run back DDP and Strickland? Do we really want to see that fight for a third time? I guess so. Should KHAMZAT move up to light heavyweight and slime out Olberg? Yes, please. What do we do about Chimaev? No one cares. But yeah, guys, honestly, overall the card, watching it through, it was kind of, we had Volkov versus Waldo. That was a pretty entertaining fight for heavyweights, more technical than anything. I don't think anyone ever got really rocked or put on skates. It was a technical fight. I'm happy for Volkov, but again, I didn't care that much. Oh, the Sean Brady fight. That was awesome. Now, not a huge fan of either guys. I love and respect the welterweight division because it's so highly talented. I'm just saying I don't have this pull towards either of them. But to see Sean Brady go out there and prove everyone wrong after taking that horrible loss to Morales, that was super entertaining. I wouldn't say entertaining compared to like a striking clinic, but just so dominant. You know, when you see dominant MMA, two guys who are at the top of their divisions, inside of the top 15, and you see one of them just absolutely clean the floor with the other person, you have to respect it. You have to be in awe, because if you've ever trained at all, you know, like the difference between a white belt and a blue belt and a purple and a black, and then the people who then dominate them. The levels inside of a gym, let alone the UFC, are so far apart that when you see two athletes of their caliber go at it and you see one of them dominate, you just have to respect it. Even if it might be boring, like you might not like dominant grappling, but Sean Brady does have awesome ground and pound. And it was pretty funny to see him just hitting him like he's a fucking bongo drum. You know, Buckley the bongo drum, that's what they should call him from now on. Dominant shutout performance. I feel sorry for Buckley. He took off, what, whole year after the Usman destruction, and then, again, got destroyed. So I don't know what he's going to do there. Go see Craig Jones. Go to Dagestan. Start fucking sprawling some takedowns. It's really hard. The way that Buckley opens up when he's striking, it's violent. It has power, but it just leaves opening for the takedowns. And when you have someone like an Usman, someone like an Islam, someone with dominant grappling, they're going to come through and just wipe you. It is such an overpowered build, and this is a video topic for another day, but wrestling, it seems unfair. Your striking needs to be so dominant that you stop them from shooting, but all it takes is one slip up and they can pin you down for the rest of the round and potentially finish you. It's much harder to put that one single punch on someone's jaw or a knee or an elbow that puts them down for good compared to slipping a shot, shooting on the legs and just dry humping you. Again, I respect it. It's fucking dominant, but it does seem unfair. I pray to God that people like Ilya, people like Van keep coming through the UFC where we see dominant striking, beating wrestling, because it's one of the most exciting things to see. As I said, think of Van opening up on Tyra and he starts to get in that flow state. Oh, sprawl the shot. Boom, rips the shot to the body, rips the shot upstairs. It's the most exciting thing to see when you know a striker has the number of the wrestler. Anyway, guys, this is just a riff off the top of my head. I'm honestly pretty sick of all my videos being copyright striked. I'm sick of them all being in the bin. So I think from now on, maybe I'll do recaps like this. I'm going to be putting a lot of time into Instagram, a lot of time into TikTok. So if you're on the short form content, follow me over there. Links will be in the description. And I'm just going to do more off the cuff videos like this because just like myself, I like listening to MMA YouTube as well. I like listening to all the creators. I like playing their videos for hours on end. So why not give you the content like that as well? Don't get me wrong, I'm still going to be doing my story time videos. I'm still going to be doing high level content or high effort content. But at the same time, I want to do stuff like this where I can just quickly get a video out to you guys. I can just get something off my chest, talk about it with you guys, give you something to listen to while you're at work, hating your life like I usually am. And yeah, thanks for watching all the way to the end. I appreciate you guys. Check out this video right here that YouTube's recommending you. I don't know what it is, but it must be good. And I'll see you guys next week for a new video. Peace out.